Hi everybody, my name is Emily Spence, and today we're going to be talking about the gender gap in STEM and STEM education. In order to talk about the gender gap in STEM, we need to discuss what is STEM. STEM has no formal definition throughout the world or even throughout the United States, but it's often thought of as the transdisciplinary approach of the four STEM silos, which include science, technology, engineering, and math. Some define it as using all four of the disciplines, while some think you only need one or two to make something a STEM activity or a STEM career. Systematically, girls have been tracked away from STEM programs and careers, beginning with their educational experiences. Women make up 47% of the workforce in the United States, but only 28% of the science and engineering workforce. That's a major gap. And although there has been an increase from the past, women have been encouraged to perform well in other subjects outside of the STEM silos, while men are often encouraged to perform well within the STEM silos. One factor that we look at for this is gendered socialization. Now, according to UNICEF, gender socialization is defined as the process by which people learn to behave in a certain way as dictated by their societal beliefs, values, attitudes, and examples. Within this, stereotypes, such as women being thought of as bad at math, impact girls' wishes to participate in the STEM subjects. Stereotypes themselves are another factor that impacts the gender gap. Computer science careers and IT careers are often stereotyped as socially isolated fields, but since women are taught to be socialized, they are steered away from the pursuit of these careers. Girls are often taught to rely heavily on their peer groups. If the female peers of a female student are steering away from the STEM courses, which could lead to a greater interest in a STEM career, then that student is likely to follow her pack of girls. Since people do not like to be ostracized from their peer groups, they are probably going to stick to courses where most of them can succeed. The cycle has continued to perpetuate this gender gap. Next, we need to discuss how do we know that this gender gap exists in STEM? One of my favorite examples that I see of this was in 2011, LEGO found that 90% of its consumers were boys. So they focused on research and design for toys for girls. Their research showed them that girls tend to favor the small details, and so LEGO set out to release toys that could engage girls in engineering feats. And if you'll notice on the screen, there should be a LEGO Friends set, which is marketed for girls. And it does have all the little details, like it has a little cat, little plants that girls can place wherever they want. Now, this doesn't stop boys from playing with it, but it does seem to add more girls to the LEGO fan base. These next graphs are from an article called Women in STEM, A Gender Gap to Innovation, written by B. Julian, Langdon, McKittrick, Kahn, and Doms. And this first graph shows the gender shares of total and STEM jobs. And you can see the STEM jobs, men hold 76%, while in other jobs they hold 52%. And women hold 24% in the STEM jobs and 48% of other kinds of jobs. Figure 2 shows the share of workers in STEM jobs by gender and educational attainment. Now, these graphs are from 2009, so they're a little bit dated, but I think this one very greatly shows the differences between the men and women. You can see how tall the blue bars look in comparison to the red bars that represent women based on their degrees. Figure 3's graph shows a little bit more positive side of this. It shows the average hourly earnings by gender and occupation. As you can see in the non-STEM jobs, the gender wage gap is 21%, but in the STEM jobs, it's a little bit smaller at 14%. But still, for every dollar earned by a man, women in STEM earn 86 cents. So there is still the age gap, but we can see that it's a little bit smaller in the STEM fields. Although we've seen an increase in participation of females in traditionally male-dominated fields like medicine and law, females are still obviously very underrepresented in STEM. We need women because we need diversity of thought. Along with all the men in STEM, we need women in STEM, we need minorities in STEM. STEM is for everyone. And if we're missing that, we're missing out on a lot of innovation. And I think our children deserve that. I think their children deserve that. So for the sake of our world, where would we be without women and minorities in STEM?
Hi, I'm Madison Kelly and I'm an electrical engineering major, and I think that the gender gap has definitely affected me personally because in my classes I'm like one of the only girls, and you can definitely see the divide between me and some of my classmates. So that's why I think we need more women in STEM to be role models for young girls, to show them that you can do whatever you want to do, whether you're a girl or a boy or whatever.
Okay, so we talked about the gender gap in STEM and how important it is to rectify it, but what do we do? How can we actually practically make this happen? Educators have so much power to help their students grow, and these directives are pointed at educators specifically, but everybody can help all feel included in STEM just by talking about it and encouraging one another. So the first way that educators can help girls and everyone feel like they can do STEM is to use their educational strategies to reach out to girls and encourage them to be interested in STEM projects. Next, teachers can provide STEM experiences for all students that involve building, discovering, trial and error, working hands-on, collaborating, and solving real-world problems. Next, educators can display role models in STEM to help students see themselves taking on those roles. So if you're teaching girls and you want girls interested in STEM, maybe show them a girl astronaut or have a girl astronaut come in and speak to the class, or other ways to show role models that could appeal to the kids. Another good way to encourage STEM is by facilitating an atmosphere of curiosity and positivity, giving students the freedom to explore the ideas. And lastly, educators can provide informal, low-risk experiences with STEM students so that they have the freedom to fail without consequence. And a good way to implement this is to have after-school programs, so that way they won't have to worry as much about it being part of a grade. And something that can apply to all professions and all things in life is the growth mindset. So this is especially true in STEM education, that if you encourage that you can just keep trying at it, even if you're not immediately good at something, that you can grow in that area.